All righty, here we are. Let's get started with just checking in. I'm checking in with you because today's call is about truly tapping into yourself. And how are you doing today? We've got some guys that'll be showing up in a bit, but want to know what's going on for you as we talk about what's going on for us and see where we are today in the world. I hope you're watching the World Cup because they're doing something different. They're being different, moving differently, and elevating in so many ways. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll see you soon. Peace. When I am asked to speak, I embrace the calling. It is my responsibility to make sure to leave everyone inspired to elevate in all aspects of life. In the 26 states and 10 countries, it has been my energy that is infectious and magical. The impact elevates everyone to new heights. It's time to conquer our challenges. Relationships across the board, communication gaps, fear of the unknown, limited beliefs in all that holds us hostage in life. The path to power is peace, and peace is the power to live by. The unique perspective that I bring to the table inspires all. Professionals, executives, students, coaches, and athletes to reach their highest potential. That is why I, Sid McNairy, am known as the secret weapon. Whether it is tackling mental health issues, success in business, or winning at life, every moment counts. Get ready to receive the tools to win. It's time to win at everything. Let's connect today. Peace.
Hello, my name is Miles. Discover a powerful journey of resilience, purpose, and spiritual growth in the autobiography of a human by Sid McNairy. In this compelling autobiography, McNairy shares the personal challenges and triumphs that shaped his path to success while offering insight for professionals seeking deeper meaning and balance in their own lives. Drawing from his experiences growing up Catholic, participating in indigenous vision quests, and studying the Buddhist path, he reveals how diverse spiritual traditions ultimately guide us toward the same destination, connection with the Creator and our highest selves. Through practices such as meditation, yoga, and spirit medicine, McNairy demonstrates how life's victories and hardships can become opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and lasting peace. The autobiography of a human is more than a memoir. It is an inspiring reflection for professionals striving to align purpose, personal development, and inner clarity. Available now on Amazon, this transformative story invites readers to reflect, grow, and step confidently onto their own path of self-discovery and peace.
All righty, we're here and excited for this conversation. You've got me and Tony, and eventually other people will show up. But love to hear what's going on for you. What's going on in the world? What are you thinking about? How's things hitting in your life? And let's talk about it and see where we go. I'm not sure which one of these things Tony wants to bring up, so I'm going with this one. Is that the one? Because the other one's green.
What's up, brother? Yeah, I jumped out of the other one because I don't know, all these different platforms. Like I had to go onto Google in order for me to use my background. Otherwise, it's just a green screen. So I had to change stuff up. But look, we got sleeveless freaking Joe Jackson here. I mean, Christopher Rush. What's up, man?
What's up, gentlemen? I apologize for being late. I still got vacation brain from my Alaskan cruise, so just trying to get back in the swing of things. But I was like, I hadn't seen a thing, and I thought, well, I don't want to miss it and see all you guys. So
right on. Well, no one got it till just now, so don't feel anything about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Somehow I didn't send it out.
Sure, I checked my email. I'm like, oh, maybe they're not having it.
Nope. Sid, technical errors. So it is what it is. And we're just talking about what's on everyone's heart. We're moving into this 4th of July weekend. We've got the World Cup going on, which I'm a super fan, having played in college and all those things. Most people don't even know that I was a soccer player and played over in England. And I actually because I went from playing college soccer 4 years and right into coaching football, I never stopped and actually looked at, all right, this is what I've done with my life. So it's till now. I mean, you're talking, gosh, I don't know, what's that, 30 years later that I'm now looking at, damn, I played as a freshman, Division I soccer, starting. And so like those things is like baffling to look back and think I never even gave it time of day, really. So yeah, that's what's been on my heart, is really just saying, okay, where am I now and what have I done to get here? So it's been interesting to reflect like that. Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, it's good. It's good to reflect like that. I think as we get older, I'm finding a lot of my friends our age, just sitting there taking this time to sit there and like be in astonishment about how fast time has gone by and how much time might not be left, and looking at the hourglasses and they're realizing like, wow, man, I wish I could go back and experience some of those things for the first time again, and tell my younger self, like, really be present in the moment, really appreciate this because it's going to go pretty quick. And I think what you're saying, Sid, is resonating with a lot of people. A lot of my coaching clients are experiencing that sense of, I've been calling it the death of the former personality, like the death of the identity of who we were. And to your point, the gratitude and appreciation that we often sometimes don't have for those moments. Then in times of reflection, we're sitting there thinking, oh man, it'd really be great to go back and experience that again. But I think that's the wisdom that we gain as we start to get older, and that we're able to impart, like we do here on the conversation, is to share with people who perhaps, in their 30s and their 40s and going through some stuff, to like really slow down and savor that. I was telling somebody the other day, like, and it's all for me too. I mean, what I say really applies to myself, but I found myself eating a chocolate chip cookie and I was kind of mowing through it. And I thought, well, geez, Chris, why don't we stop? And if this was your last chocolate chip cookie, how would you experience this cookie? And I thought it was kind of crazy how I thought about it. But then I really just slowed down and I thought about who made it and the chocolate chips and the flavor and all the different things and having it with my family. And it really stopped all the echoing of the bullshit that goes on in our brain. And I just focused on that cookie. And so I had told a couple of people, I'm like, when you're eating something or you're experiencing something, like really just sit in awe of that ability to smell and to feel and to be there present with your friends or your family or by yourself, whatever it might be, to gain a little bit more of that appreciation so that we don't wind up still being in that stream where we're, oh yeah, I'll enjoy it someday or someday I'll be happy when, that kind of stuff. So it's been on my mind a lot too.
Yeah, someday is today. Everybody's waiting for someday, and that's absolute bullshit because everybody who died yesterday had plans for this morning.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's not promised to anyone. And, we've got a mutual friend that I like his line. He says, every day I die to the man I was yesterday. Because it's true. If you really think about that, every morning we're born again. We wake up, we have another opportunity to live, to love, to be loved, to learn, to share, to teach, to do, to be better today than we were yesterday. Yes. So, and the man we were yesterday is dead. You can't go back. You can't go back. It's done. Right. So, I mean, and as the years go by, and I heard him say that probably 10 years ago, and every day that goes by and I think about it, it's more and more real. Right? Because today you're alive and you have an opportunity to do what you didn't do yesterday. And you can't really do yesterday. You can do the similar thing or the same thing, but it's not the same thing. It can't possibly be the same thing because it's a different time. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's not even real anymore. All we've got is now. We don't have tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's another day. Okay. YOLO. No, YOLO. You only die once. You live every damn day. But arguably, that's kind of counter to what I'm saying. But it really ties in hand in glove to what I said, because you live every day. When you die, it's done. But every day you have an opportunity to get up and do something different. And if you want to have a different life, then you've got to do something different today, because as we said last week, Sid, I think we were talking about the life you're living today. The day you're living today is based on decisions you made yesterday. So if you're having a great day, awesome. You did something right somewhere yesterday, last week, whatever it is. If you're having a shitty day, it may have been through some of the decisions that you made, whether it was dietary, whether it was relationship, whether it was business, whatever it was. You know, you have a little to do with that. Now, when you were talking about the World Cup, Sid, you know, I have been watching a few games. I've got certainly some of my favorites. I still love USA to win, of course. And then, you know, you've got, you know, my roots are in Portugal and my wife has roots in Brazil. And, you know, and I've been rooting for the underdogs in this game or that game or whatever it is because they played harder. And as much of a fan, and I'm originally Portuguese, right? I'm a citizen of the U.S. now after, you know, since I've been a teenager, but it's still my roots, right? So I root for them. Yet, you know, they upset me the first game. Upset me. What do they care, right? But the reality of it is, you look at a game, and they were up 1-0. There's maybe 8 minutes left to the first half, and they just stopped playing. Now, they were still playing, but they were no longer playing to win. They were playing to not lose. And I think that so many of us do that shit in our life. We play not to lose. We don't play to win. And then we wonder why we didn't win. Well, you weren't playing to win. You're playing not to lose. You're playing scared.
Right.
And we just need to get out of our own goddamn way, put our big boy pants on, panties on, whatever. Well, for men and women, I'm not telling you to put on your panties if you're a man. But the reality is, you know, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, put your big boy pants on, whatever you want to call it, and just get at it. And by the way, listen, I'm guilty of playing small at times. I'm guilty of playing not to win. I think many of us are. There's times in your life that survival is a thing, right? But man, we're not here to just survive. We're here to thrive, right? And, you know, that the World Cup is, you know, I was watching, like I said, and it was just pissing me off. I'm like, you know what? And they didn't lose. They tied. But had they lost, I would have said, good. I mean, I wouldn't want them to lose now because knockout round, whatever. But still, but good if they lost, because you're in the World Cup. You're playing to freaking win. You're not playing to keep the ball on your side or, you know, just pass the ball around and just kill time. That's bullshit. And the other thing is the drama. Worst thing about soccer to me. Worst thing about soccer. And we've seen a lot of drama play out, of course. And I'll tell you what, yesterday we watched
Morocco.
It was the Netherlands against
Morocco.
Who the hell were they playing? I forget who they were playing, but dude, it was such a violent game.
Oh, no, they played Gold Coast.
Yeah, dude, it was incredible how violent it was. But anyway, that notwithstanding, you know, oftentimes, you know, there's injuries that we sustain in life and we think that they're life-threatening. Oh my God, I'm disabled now. It's now a crutch for the rest of my life. Get over it. And in soccer is a great example of it. And it goes back to maybe the World Cup, maybe the last one, the one before that, where one player went up to the other guy and flicked his ear and the guy dropped like he just got shot in the head, right? He's rolling around. He goes back to the videotape and literally the guy did this to him. Right. And anyway, I think that he should have gotten a red card when you fake it that bad. But anyway.
I mean, I don't know when the flop came in, but it wasn't part of the game I played. Like you got hit, you knew you got hit. Like it was just real like that. But at the same time, that is part of the game. To make sure the ref calls it, you know, because they weren't calling things that happened when I was playing. So it is what it is on that part, at least. But yeah, that game, the Netherlands versus Gold Coast, that's what I love about it. Gold Coast could have won. You know, they could have, because they were shooting, they were doing it, they were moving the ball, they were attacking. And then there's a couple, that's the amazing thing. Like it's easy to see, like, the one guy, DeAndre Fox from the Spurs basketball, is getting investigated for betting, you know, fixing the game. And I said that. It was like, nah, he's a pro. Like all these passes he's missing, I'm not buying it. And now here he is getting investigated. Soccer, you can miss some stuff and no one will ever know. It's real. Like you can shoot high and everyone's just like, oh, really?
Right.
He did that. And it's like, but did he do that?
Right. And I'll tell you what, I will say this just to add to that. We have seen some incredible goals. Freaking amazing. But yeah, you're right. You just kick it and you just kick it a foot over and you're like, oh my God, so close. Meantime, that's exactly where they want to put it. But yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. What I love also is like Brazil, which you probably watched that game when Brazil beat Japan, and how they just said, screw it, we're not celebrating. These guys got their hearts crushed and went and loved on them, hugged them. And I mean,
well, that's being a good sportsman.
Well, yes, but where else does that happen?
Not often. And even in the World Cup, that doesn't happen very often.
No, but it actually is this year. That's the thing. It is this year. And what I love about sports is sports generally lead the way for where we go in humanity. You go through the history books, like Germany welcoming, or they didn't welcome them, but when Jesse Owens and the other 14 members of Black people at that time went to Germany and crushed it, the world shifted. The world started shifting. Like, okay, you can say what you want. Superior, my ass. Like, let's get real about this. And that's what I love about sports. It always has been a place where you can see life elevating, because we're following shortly after. Happened at Purdue. Before I was there, when I got dropped off, my dad was like, all right, Harry's Chocolate Shop, which Harry's Chocolate Shop was a chocolate shop that during Prohibition was alcohol down low, right? And so, but then when players came and they started getting all these Black players, it was like, okay, you don't want us to come in the chocolate shop? Well, we ain't playing on Saturday. Well, they started coming in the chocolate shop. You don't want us to date white women? Well, we ain't playing on Saturday. They started being able to date white women. It's just all these different things that happen in sports. And we can look at it one of two ways. Sports challenges what the status quo is of everyday life to, okay, this is where we're going. Like, you want us to be worthy of being on your field for you. Like, look at the NFL just said their players are now the NFLPA just came out and said, you've been lying to us for years. You've been giving us this fake grass, but you just did it for the World Cup. So now what? So now we'll get to see, like, you have to take care of the players, because sports are showing when it's not status quo. And I love that.
What I love about sports is you can look at sports and see how people play life. And when you look at sports, you can see how some people cheat, some people deceive, some people, like I said, play to win, while others just play not to lose. And the ones that play not to lose oftentimes lose because they're not playing to win. Other times you see the big guys coming in, like Germany yesterday's game when Germany played it was Paraguay, or I forget who it was that they were playing. It wasn't Paraguay. It was I forget. Well, I watched.
Yeah, I don't know Germany.
And it went to overtime, and then it went to PKs, and then it went to double PKs, and then they won because they blocked the goal and they scored a goal, and they were the underdog, I think, to Germany. So sometimes, but both teams played really well. Yet again, some teams play harder. Sometimes, there was the team from Costa Verde or something, like one of the African countries, but they have serious ties to Portugal because it was one of the colonies, I guess we'll call it, one of the
slave trade.
And it was, some great stories came out of that. Two things. Number one, the goalie could barely couldn't afford to bring his mom here, and there was paperwork issues, so he just couldn't bring her because paperwork issues and financial issues. He defended so many shots. Defended so many shots on that first game. He went from having 30 followers on Facebook to like 1.3 million
30,000
in 24 hours.
Yeah.
The fastest growing Instagram account in history, right? Because he played so good and his story came out of who he was and it just blew up. And that same team was short of players. So they went to LinkedIn and found the player. And that guy came in and scored as soon as he came in. So it's just, there's like a lot of really great stories with the underdogs that come through, and kind of sometimes you show up and you think that you got it, it's in the bag, and somebody takes your lunch money. And that happens in life. You gotta play to win, right? You got to show up.
Well, I think also though there was you got the guy from Senegal that stands and salutes the whole game, 90 minutes, doesn't move. You know, the players were like, he's got to come, and he's actually standing as someone from history. I don't know the exact name of the person from history. And then we've got the U.S. that doesn't allow him in. Let's get real about this. Like, so there's things that I love about. See, now you can't hide your BS. You got to actually live in it, because it is often, and it has been, exposed like crazy. Like, we're sitting here letting people in free to come in. Now, I get there is this threat of Ebola with a couple of the countries. So you got to actually look at them and make sure they're healthy before they come in, all that. But then there's also, when you relate it to what's going on, we've invited in white refugees when we haven't people of color. That's real. And it's actually happening on the soccer field. And the difference is, in the world of World Cup FIFA, you don't just get to do that. You actually now have to stand up for something, because it will go as an uproar to all these countries. And I love that. I love that that's really the exposure of the crap that actually is happening in real time in America.
Yeah. Well, again, that's interesting. And I will relate to another one that was an embarrassment. There was one player on the American soccer team that did not put his hand on his heart. He didn't kneel, at the very least. But I think that if you're representing your country, doesn't matter which country you're from, if you're representing your country, you honor that country. And if you're not going to respect it by one way or another, don't be on the field. And you may be a really great player, but you're representing your country. If you don't,
but if you're actually representing your country, I would disagree with that. Because if you're representing your country and your country's doing something wrong, you should actually be able to stand, however, to lift your country up. So if your country is doing something foul, I didn't even see it, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's
but
fine.
If your country is doing something foul, then why wouldn't people stand up?
But not when you're representing.
That's like saying that just because somebody says
took a knee, that's not cool. It's just not cool. You're representing the country.
No, it is cool. So we just have a different perspective of it. Like, God didn't strike that person down as if it were wrong. Like, you saying it's wrong is your opinion, but it's not truth. Like, the truth is, you do whatever you need to do to raise people up, period. I don't care what it is. And so if someone actually finally, I don't know what it was. You got to give me more details on why that person did it.
The guy, everybody was just, saying, singing along, and they had a hand on his chest, and he just had his hands down, looking down, not saying a word. I just think it's rude, because you're representing your country. It's a national anthem. What's wrong with the national anthem? Nobody's telling you to condone one thing or another. It's the national anthem.
And sometimes you got to just do things differently. So people can actually hear.
I listen, and we don't have.
I get you don't agree with it, but in history, that's real. Because let's get real about this. Where did sports and politics mix? Do you know? Because this is the one class that made me actually elevate my college career as a.
I would think that it was in the 70s or something.
All right, let me give it to you, so we don't have to guess. The Cubs sucked. So they said, if we make this America's game and start playing the national anthem, people will come. Not because they actually were caring about the veterans that fought for the country or the people that let's make it equal for everybody. No. So the one moment someone finally says, no, I'm good with it. Now let's get real around why you're saying no, so that we can actually address the BS that is happening. Like, maybe he didn't raise his hand because they haven't released the files. Like, maybe he didn't cover his heart like that because they haven't released the files. I'm down. Say something. Like, so I really feel like, as a citizen born, I didn't have a choice. I didn't get to choose whether or not to be here. I was put here by God, and I'm going to stand for when people are screwed up. And if somebody actually has the ability to speak up against it, more power to him. And I'll go with them, because they're actually willing to make us a better country. Don't just put it on a freaking hat and think, oh, this is what we do. Make America great again, but we're going to still create some things that suck. No, you don't get to do this. Not in this country. It shouldn't be how it is. Dr. Vibes here. You just missed
something. Don't have, listen, the unfortunate reality is we don't have enough people. Again, the outrage has to be on both sides. And what we need to do, and not to go drive this into politics, but we need to get rid of incumbent politicians. 2 terms, 3 at the most, it's enough. Every politician that's representing your country should be born, at the very least, be born in this country. We have a lot of clowns that weren't born in this country, been here for 20 minutes. The minute they get legal, they run, and because they're in this particular community, they get into power, and then they start wreaking havoc with laws and everything else. That's really messing with the country. By the way, Dr. Vibes here too. Same thing is happening in Canada. Same thing is happening in the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece. You name it, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, but for every person that you probably could say the negative, you could flip it and find the positive. And there really is a balance. God is balanced. It's peace. And so when things move out of balance, there has to be a counter to bring it back to balance. And I think we miss that in humanity. Like, we sit here and say this is right or wrong, but actually, if it were right or wrong, black and white, God wipe it off.
Yeah, the reality is there is no balance, and this is something you've heard me talk about. When the pendulum swings too far to one side, which it has been, very much to the left, when it swings back down, it's not going to settle between 5 and 7 o'clock. It's going to go to freaking 1 o'clock, and there's going to be a lot of pain there as well. And the unfortunate reality is when you have the pendulums, and whichever way they swing, when they get up to the top at 12 o'clock, the pendulum, the top is the same on both sides. It's totalitarianism. It's dictatorship. It's the thing that everybody fights against and doesn't want. The left doesn't want the right to be at the top with totalitarianism and whatever that might look like. The right doesn't, because the extreme of both sides is the evil that neither side wants. And we do have to have a balance. Life really should be rocking at the most, between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. At the most is where it should be. Ideally, it would be between 5 and 7 o'clock, right? Just kind of rocking around that middle. And, and there's a balance. That's the balance. But when things go too far to the left or too far to the right, it's a problem. And we need to be aware of that and see who the radical politicians are on one side and the other, and really do the best we can to vote for the right person. Not necessarily what's going to be the most beneficial to you, which it's all about me. And in today's world, it's what can you give to me? What can the government give to me for free? Of course, they don't understand that free, the government doesn't create or doesn't have anything. It's got to take from one to give to the other. It's got to take from the worker to give to the guy that opts not to work. Not those who can't work. That's different. So let's be clear, because that people jump on me all the time. Well, Tony, how about the seniors? How about the people that have disabilities? Well, and I'll talk about that for a second and say, I would say probably half the people in this country that are quote unquote disabled, only half of them are probably disabled. The other half are, they have. All right, let's not get too,
like right about now. I've checked out because I don't even know where we are. We got into
we're just talking about the swings and the politics.
No, we aren't. You are, and that's okay. I'm not saying that.
Well, hold on. The conversation started there, so I just went a little further.
And we're just talking, Dr. Vibe, welcome. We're talking about whatever's on your heart, and so we went from soccer to the World Cup to politics, and the reason why we went there was the conversation went from somebody not covering his heart. Maybe he had gas. I don't really know why he didn't cover his heart when the national anthem was on. And
he didn't even look up. It's just rude.
It's rude to you, but to me it's not. So how can two things be how can one thing be two different things if it's actually true? It can't. It can't. Truth scientifically says test, same. I'm saying you say it's this way, I say it's this way, so it's not truth, it's your opinion, and that's great. I appreciate your opinion. And I also love the fact that people can, in some countries you get your ass shot. like you don't salute that, you might not make it to the next game. And I don't think that's it either. Just because some people think it needs to be a certain way, you don't get to play God. That I call BS, which we have once again. It's interesting to me that I can say these things, and then we got somebody running a country that's trying to do all these things. Tell people exactly how they need to be. Screw you. Let's stand. Me and you, toe to toe. I'm calling it out. Let's do it. I don't give a rat's ass. Me and him, toe to toe. Please, let's do it. Like you want to schedule the UFC fights? Put me in a cage with them. Let's just do it, straight up. And I'm a peace guy, but I do know that God brings fury on stupidity. I'm real about that. I can't stomach that bull. And to even think, well, maybe we need more like Florida ways, because for some reason we don't do taxes. So at least they got to work for something. And you don't just get my money. I love that. Why do you think I live here? Shit. Because I don't think
we do agree politically.
It's some crazy stuff. We got to get back to straight up. I love that them guys are out there rowing the boat like they're Vikings again. Because some of these people's heads got to roll. That's just where I'm at. That's how it hits. All right, Doc, what's up? How you doing?
I am outstanding. Good to see you each one of you as always. If I have permission, I'd like to take the conversation a different lane.
Roll on.
Possible.
We might come right back, but go ahead.
I know. I'm going to see how far I can take it away from the main drive. So Sid, you title these conversations a men's circle, right? I like to put it out there. When was the last time each one of us was in a circle, and what was the impact?
I go every Wednesday. So this earlier today, 6 a.m., 2,000 guys gathering in discipleship. What's been the impact? I have watched revolution things changing in my life. I'm watching myself. We got a guy that flies in from Harvard, professor, to be part of that 2,000 people circle. And even though we may not totally see everything the same, the fact that we're all reaching for standing as a mat carrier for someone else, meaning that we're holding the mat, we're going to walk the walk so that we can be there to help someone else elevate. And I see these young guys to much older guys show up and stand for each other, and it's amazing. So that's me. I'm dedicated to that. Then I come here, in this circle. And I'm constantly looking at, all right, what's another way for me to put God first?
Okay. All right. Chris, what's the last
great question. Good to see you, Dr. Vibe.
Right back at you.
One of the circles obviously is the one that I committed to being here on a weekly basis and sharing this. And then I have what I call our mini circles, where it's usually 3 to 4, maybe 5 guys, probably about once or twice a month that we jump on a Zoom call and we just kind of check in with one another. It's our healing session, just to be guys and just to make sure that we're checking in and listening to one another and providing support and calling out, something that somebody may not be fully comprehending or accepting. And so the key is that we invite everybody to bring one question to the group and ask that question to try to stimulate if we're all being congruent with our values, if we're all speaking our truth to ourselves and to the people in our lives, and that we're also executing on the things that we say that we're going to do. So we've been doing that. And then I've also been starting to do it in person a little bit with situations where I'm at Cub Scout meetings, or I'm at parent teacher things, or just other avenues where I can get a couple of guys together and just have informal conversations, kind of like this, and just to see what's up and what's going on, and to provide assistance and provide clarity back to people.
Tony.
You're muted, bro. Tony, you're muted.
You're muted.
I have a weekly call with a couple of guys, just, mastermind and what's going on in life, and just follow up and everything else. And I think it's important to just stay in touch with people so that you can hear what's happening in the world and get a different perspective, and have them give you perspective on what's going on with your life, just a different side of it, and just hold you accountable, and hold your feet to the fire, so to speak, and at the same time encourage you to push and to move forward. Because I think that when you're isolated and you don't talk about what's going on in life, maybe some of your challenges, some of the things you're working on, and also to talk about what you're celebrating, what you're grateful for. I think we miss out a lot, and I think that's important, especially, like I said, in the men's groups, that a lot of men, we've said it in here before, a lot of men don't have that confidant, that confidant, that person they can go and speak to about, some fears or something that they're worried about, because we're all supposed to walk around, man up, walk it off, guns out, right? And it's not always the case, and many of us put up that facade until we can't hold it up anymore, and sometimes we just need to be able to drop our masks and be who we really are, to really get the answers that we need from ourselves. And sometimes it takes others to help point that out. Sometimes it takes others to find the gold in you, because you don't know where it is, because it's easy to find the crap. It's easy to find the dirt on anyone. It's not as easy to find the gold. And I think that when you're in the right group, that can help.
Thanks, guys. I thought I'd just change the lane a bit. The reason why I'm asked the question, just in the last few days, I had the opportunity to sit with a man who's been doing men's circles at his home every Monday night for 20 years.
Wow.
And just when he told me that just hit me right there. And I'm leaning in on him, and he gives me permission to say, how have you kept this going?
Here's a question I'd love for you to ask him.
Yep.
As he opens his house.
Yep.
Because I thought about this, because Liz and I, marriage mentors for the church, and
yep.
And here's the thought, okay, the devil resides in every space. I don't give a darn what you're in. It's real, and there's a dark thing that's coming in any space. It could sift into here, jump into someone's heart one day, and then jump out. It's everywhere. And so my question is, how does he protect from that darkness coming in his house?
Okay, I will follow up with him. I'll probably see him in the next week or so, and I will ask him that question for you.
Yeah, because
Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it's great. It really hits for me. Now I've been blessed that the majority of people that come around, but I've also seen some possessions. I've seen some far out stuff in the name of helping people. And so I look at, as we talk about men's circles, and my wife and I with this marriage mentor, and even I remember back in 2012, Lululemon brought me out to Vancouver, and I was late because it was plane, trains, and automobiles for me. And then when I finally got there, they had been going for 18 hours. And she said, Sid, we've had this conversation, and we know that you weren't here because you needed to insert at this point. What does it mean to have God in yoga? She asked. I said, well, if you aren't taking people to God, then you're not teaching yoga. And I feel like that with these men's circles, women's circles, marriage circles. If you're not taking people to the creator of everything, not the religion, to the creator of everything, you aren't doing it justice. You aren't doing that person justice, because they can't even live without that. And so I'm curious in that way, and it's calling me more and more to look at all of that, right? To look at different iterations of the Bible, to look at the Torah, to look at all things, because all things point back to it.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that, Sid, and something that someone told me a little while back, and I'm really into it now, is that sometimes in order to have someone move with you, you've got to go to their bus stop.
Well said.
So, so what you're saying there, Sid, you're seeking knowledge because all of us are encountering people at different bus stops. Are we being open and honest enough and willing enough to go to their bus stop? We may not stay there and they may not go with us, but do we have the non-judgment to at least go to their bus stop? Doesn't mean you have to ride with them, but to go to their bus stop.
Right. I mean, I felt like that's what called me back into a men's circle on the Bible, because I literally wanted to walk seeking the truth. And then I got so far down that road and realized, oh, wait a minute. There's this space that people say they are, but they are not doing what they say they are following. You can't go to war and claim to be the follower of Jesus. You can't. The Prince of Peace wasn't taking you to war, So it's interesting to me, and I love that I went back, because now I'm getting real versed in it. It's like, let's get real. Stop hiding behind your book and start being it.
If I have permission, I'm gonna add on to this in regards to reaching out to other guys and being at their bus stop. Have you ever had that experience when you've done that and their partner, significant other, says, "Thank you so much"?
Say that one more time.
Just like, we're all involved in reaching out and walking with men. And I'm just saying that have you ever had the experience when you've done that and it resonates? If they have a significant other, have you ever heard the significant other say to you on the side, "Hey, thank you so much," or "He needs this"?
1,000%.
That's one of the most special feelings I get in my life. And there's a gentleman right now, we've been chatting, and his wife, I'm so happy you're doing this. And just 2 days ago, he texted me to check in on me. That was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's great that that you're seeing that. It's like it says that look at the fruit of someone's labor. Right? Like your work is producing good fruit. If your work is producing rotten fruit, change your work. And you can see that if people just live that. Look at your own stuff. What you're creating, is it producing solid fruit that's edible for other people, or is it producing rotten fruit? And if it's producing rotten fruit and you keep going, you got to be part of the devil spawn. Like, that's real to me. Like, as I look at that, like, I just see it. You got to be creating something that's just not worthy. If your fruit is producing something negative and you're still working in it, you can't be walking, not the teachings that I know. And if it says that you should do it like that, please show me where, because I'm missing something. My books that I'm reading and following, the playbooks, they don't ever say that. And so as I look at it, it's like, okay, I don't need to say anything. Just hold up the mirror. The mirror. It's wild how all this stuff is happening.
Well, permission to add on again that I know that all the people that are on the screen here and the ones who join us in with us periodically, we do this not because of for me, it's not hard work, it's heart work. Because of assisting men is hard. I can be hard to assist myself, but when it becomes not transactional but transformational, it's a wonderful feeling. So sorry I've taken it off the political path. I thought, let me see if I can go down this road and see what happens here.
I mean, for me, I think I don't ever want to leave the political path, even though I haven't 1,000 said I'm going. But I don't ever want to leave it because it's like going back to the church. We got to go to the places where they are screwing it up. And they're screwing that thing up, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, because really, as they screw it up, it's actually correcting itself. Like, the more they screw it up, the more that's revealed, right? Like, that's real. So as I look at it, it's like, this whole idea of don't talk about religion and politics to your friends, I'm not there. Don't be my friend.
That's
because
right.
We got to talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, it just stays in the dark. Go to an attic that never gets opened and go up there. I dare you. Like, no one really wants to go in there with the spiders and the cockroaches and everything else is just living in that dark, humid environment. Shed light on it, those little suckers just start scurrying. And that's it to me. Like, so it's okay for me. And I'll probably talk politics until it's cleaned up. Because when it's cleaned up, then it's like, all right, what are we talking about? Like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's keep doing that. And let's find the other ways we can lift that up. But I think it's important for us to be okay talking to our friends about politics and religion, because they're actually hiding it that way.
I think we have to, and the less we talk about it, the worse it is, because they get away with more shit, because nobody wants to talk about it because they don't want to be labeled one way or labeled another way or whatever it is. We just got to stop with that, because the only thing that drives out the darkness can't drive out darkness. Only light can do that. One single flame of a candle can light up a room, can guide someone's path. Darkness can't do that. So if you want to heal something, you've got to expose it to the sunlight. The sunlight starts to heal. The sunlight starts to dry those humid areas. The sun is the thing that's going to give life. Nothing really grows in the dark. And what does grow in the dark really isn't very good until it breaks through to the light, right? If it's just in the ground, even potatoes, they're great, right? But the only reason that they're great is because it does have the plant that is taking in the light. Because if you bury something and it never breaks through the ground, it's dead. It's rotting. It's festering, and nothing will come of it. You must add light to the dark. And the only way to do that is, at the very least, to talk about it. People are like, well, what are you going to do by talking about it? Raise awareness. Open people's minds and open people's eyes and open people's hearts to what's actually happening, because the wool is pulled over our eyes so much, and we're lied to constantly by our politicians, by the media, by Hollywood, by freaking everybody. So sometimes we can be arguing, we agree on something, we're arguing about something because we have two halves of one side of the truth, but we don't have the whole truth, right? And even the history books, like, well, look at the books. Well, who wrote the books, right? There's so many things. There's, everything from religion to, books of the original Testament that are no longer in it, to parts of the Quran that people don't want to talk about, to parts of the Torah that people don't want to talk about, that have been cut out and taken out. It's a separate book that nobody wants to talk about. There's so much stuff that we don't know. That's why I often say that the only thing I really know is that I don't know what I don't know. And none of us do. But in today's world, it's continues to be harder and harder. Now, deception is at all-time high because social media and access to the internet, but so is the truth. And you can only hide the truth but for so long, because you have a lot of truth seekers out there. There's a lot of people trying to cover shit up and muddy the waters, but there's a lot more people trying to get to the truth. So it's interesting times that we're living in, for sure. But by talking about it, at the very least, we get to understand each other. Because if you think one way, Sid, and Dr. Vibe thinks another, Chris thinks another way, and I think another way, if we never speak, we get nothing done. We get nothing accomplished. We may all want the same thing, right? But unless we know what each other wants, we know what each other's fears and what's holding us back, we'll never grow. Because you can have all the sun you want. You got no water, you're screwed. You got no soil, you're screwed. You got no darkness, no cold, you're screwed, because you need that darkness for the seed to germinate. You need that water for it to be alive and to grow. You need the sun to expose it. So we need everything. We need the seasons. We need the light. We need the dark. We need the sun. We need the water. We need all of it.
Now, you know, we don't have seasons down here. No, I'm just
Miles, yeah, you still have seasons. They're not as
right.
Every like the equator has seasons. There's the rainy season. There's the dry season. There's still seasons. And that fall and winter, everybody has 4 seasons. Some are just really tiny and you barely notice them, but they're there.
Awesome. All right, time flew, so we got 3 minutes. So let's bring something that you want to leave behind for someone to pick up. Go for it, Dr. Vibe. We'll come to you first.
All right. I'll make it quick. I'm reading something I saw the other day and I want to share with you. So there was a Greek philosopher, I believe, I read about the other day. He was a Greek Stoic philosopher. And if I get his name wrong, it's my head, not my heart. Epictetus, I believe his name was. Whatever. So, quote, he said, quote, capability is confirmed and grows to its corresponding actions. Walking by walking, running by running. Therefore, if you want to do something, make a habit of it, unquote. So if we want to be happy, if we want to be successful, if we want to be great, we have to develop the capability. We have to develop day-to-day habits that allow this to ensue. So this is great news because it means impressive results or huge changes are possible without Herculean effort. Small adjustments, good systems, the right processes, that's what it takes. Things like when we wake up, what we study and practice, who we have in our lives as influences, where we go, and how we spend our time. There is nothing more powerful than a good habit, nothing that holds us back like a bad habit. You've seen these forces work in your own life for better and frustrating, and a lot of times too, for worse. So today is the day to start harnessing these powers and wielding them properly, men and those who love them, to stop being jerked around by your habit, to no longer be a passive observer of your own virtues and vices. It won't be easy, but it'll be transformational. I'm complete.
All right, Chris, what you got? Love it.
Well said, Dr. Vibe. I want to go back to earlier. We talked about the fact that every day we get a chance to be born again. And I really love that because my suggestion to people listening and watching is to wake up with the intention of who it is you're going to be in that day. And so one of the things I do every single day when I wake up is I say what I'm grateful for. And then also I set the intention of who I'm going to be, where I want to show up. And then so by doing that, as I'm going throughout my day and I find myself being upset about something or just being off track, I ask myself, did I set the intention today to be a complainer? Did I set the intention today to be not a good listener? Did I set the intention today to not make the world a better place for who I am and what I do? And so I think that's a great way for all of us to think about doing our best, right? We're talking about sports before competitively. I'm not a sports person necessarily because I believe we can all win. And what I do is I win and I challenge myself against myself every single day of how I can become that better version of myself by setting those intentions to set the map of where it is that I'm going. So that by doing so, when I get to the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I sit there and I think, okay, what am I most proud of today? And for the most part, I usually have 3 to 5 things that I'm proud of that day. And I believe that if we can have that functionality in our life that progressively, slowly but surely, no matter where we've been or where we're going, we'll continue to improve. And so I love that idea and I wanted to share that with everybody else. So thank you for my time.
Awesome. Awesome. And Tony. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that to piggyback on some of the stuff that was being said, it's what you do over and over again becomes a habit. The habit becomes part of your personality and who you become. So ultimately, it's your daily habits are what are going to ultimately lead you to the destiny or to wherever you are. Like I started, how I started the conversation is the day you're living today is based on some of the decisions you've made in the past, some of the habits that you've made in the past. So if you're having whatever's going on, look back at what could have, should have, would have been different. And you can start today. You can make one change today to have a completely different life tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. It's one decision. You're one decision away from changing your life. The other thing that we spoke about, and I'm going to kind of lean into that as well, is when we were talking about the World Cup, is don't play not to lose. Play to win. Stop playing defense. You'll never win a game of life if you're only playing defense. You'll survive, but you won't thrive. If you want to get whatever it is you say you want, you have to go for it. You have to play offense. Just playing defense does not win you the game. And then just something else that was being shared, and also that Robert said in the chat, is about daily gratitude. What are you grateful for? And plan it out. Be grateful today for what you have before it's too late, before it's gone. Right? Be grateful for your health. Be grateful for your eyes. Be grateful for your ears, the ability to talk, the ability to move, the ability to eat and digest your food, the ability to, the blessing it is to have a roof over your head, to be connected to technology, to have friends, to have, a great relationship for your wife, for your kids, whatever it is. Appreciate what you have before it's too late.
Awesome. Well, thank you, fellas, for being here today. It's been a great circle. If anybody in the audience wants to join us, shoot me an email at programs@sidmcnairy.com. We'll see what we can do about getting you on. I'll see you guys back in the green room. And as I wrap this up, I want to say that I was made aware of Thomas Jefferson. And when I was made aware of him, one thing I learned about him and studying everything that he did was in the Oval Office when he was there, because you decorate the office the way you like. He had every deity of everything from Ganesh to Jesus, everything that came from God up in the Oval Office. Then on top of that, what he would do, because he was a theologian, in his downtime, he took every book and laid them in front of him. And he would go through and really journal through. And that's why I'm studying so many different Bibles right now, to get more to the truth, but to also see where's the true alignment. One thing for sure is there was somebody. You can even go look at the story from the Egyptians and look at Osiris and Isis and Horus, and you can see the essence of what was there with Mary. You can go do that. You can match it up. You can see all these different things. And so you can go to the Native Americans, and there's what's called the peacemaker. Same story as the one living across the continent or across the world. And so that's there. And he took these books and lined it up, got to the truth. There is a truth. So what I'm leaving you with is seek the truth, and the truth will set you free. No matter what, like the truth is something that it's that little book right there in the corner. Truth. The truth doesn't need any of us to defend it because it stands for itself, no matter who believes it or not. Seek the truth, and the truth will set you free. Thank you for tuning in. Head over to sidmcnairy.com. Love to continue to be in contact, see how we can grow together, and have a beautiful day. Peace. I've been at peace for so long, it seems like I've been sitting all alone. Would you know when the crew is coming through? They're the ones that will make anew. Gotta go, gotta flow, gotta choose the truth. We the ones that will raise the roof. Let's roll up and throw down. Let's go and feel the sound. Good vibes, one try. Can you feel me now? Be you, be me, be free. Go and take it till we bounce the beat. Take it to the streets, make a move the feet. I can slow it down, look in my eyes now. Just like you two want it fast. Spread them wings and make it last. God was the one to erase the past. Time to bring it forward and see the forecast. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Lift your dreams and fill the glass. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Lift your dreams and fill the glass. That was God's broadcast. That was God's broadcast. Time to embrace the peace. Time to embrace the peace. Time to embrace the peace.